great thing is, those verses don't end there. So why don't you grab a different coloured pen, and on the next section of the handout, why don't you circle the words that describe from the next section what God is like and what he has given us. And then try and answer these two questions. Again, they're on the handout and they're going to be on the screen too. How has God been kind to us? And why has God been kind to us? So pause the video, and then when you have done that, you can rejoin again. Isn't it great that the verses didn't end with verse 3? They're great verses, aren't they? And I wonder how you circled on your sheet what you came out with. Well, this is mine here. I did mine in yellow this time. And I love the first word that says but, which of course means everything that we looked at earlier in that first section isn't the end. In these verses, we found that God has been kind in saving people because of his great love and his grace through Jesus dying on the cross. But what does grace mean? Any ideas? Well, grace is a word that means that God gives us things that we don't deserve. When I was a boy, my dad told me it stood for God's richness at Christ's expense. And what he gives us is a place in his kingdom, or in his family, if you like. Why does he do that? Well, the verses tell us because he loves us. Because Jesus died on the cross to save us. And to save us from God's anger. God was kind. And that shows off God's amazing grace. Remember, giving us something we don't deserve because we were like the first 3 verses. Wow, now that is fantastic, isn't it? And now look at the verses again. And you might want to find a different colour, and we're not going to pause at this point. All I want you to do is to circle one word in the next section, and that word is the word faith. And you can circle it in a different colour. Just do that now. Because the only thing we need to do to receive God's grace is to put our trust, our faith, in what Jesus Christ has done for us. And can you see that? Why don't we read verses 8 and 9 again together? Let me just read them to you. God's grace has saved you because of your faith in Christ. Your salvation doesn't come from anything you do. It is God's gift. It's not based on anything you have done. No one can brag about earning it. There's nothing we can do to earn God's love. Nothing we need to do. Just put our faith in him, just trust him and what Jesus did on the cross when he died to take away our sin. And the most amazing change happens. Now in a second we'll see that in the last few verses that is described to us. But before we do, we're going to have another song. Now this song is one we've sung a lot in the church over a number of years. It's a song that rejoices and says thank you for that great change. When I was lost, you came and rescued me. So why don't you sing along at home and enjoy this song together.